Now we're turning to obituaries brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg, 256-245-4361. That's Curtis and Son Funeral Home, your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home for burials and cremations. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Funeral service for Deanna McPherson Betts of Childersburg. That service will be today at 1 p.m. from Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, with burial in the Green Hill Cemetery. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, will direct that funeral service. Mr. Max Fuller, age 77 of Sylacauga, died Tuesday at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Visitation will be tonight, 5 till 7 at Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel. A graveside service will be Saturday, September 24th at 2 p.m. from Mount Zion Independent Cemetery in Galesville, Alabama, with the Reverend Freddie Waldrop officiating. Arrangements under the direction of Curtis and Son Funeral Home in Sylacauga. Funeral service for Geraldine Catchings Liner, age 76, will be today at 2 p.m. from Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, with the Reverend Doug Whaley officiating. Interment in the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Funeral service for James M. Candy Honeycutt, age 87 of Sylacauga, is Friday at 2 o'clock from the Chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home, with the Reverend Donnie Blackman officiating. Burial in the Holland Cemetery. Mr. Honeycutt died Wednesday, September 21st at his residence. And visitation will be tonight, 5 till 8 p.m. at Radley Smith Funeral Home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga, directing. Funeral service for Billy Wayne Alexander will be Saturday at 11 a.m. from the Chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home, with the Reverend Tommy Thornton officiating. Burial in the Macedonia Cemetery. Mr. Alexander died September 18th at his residence. Visitation Saturday from 10 until 11 o'clock at Radley Smith Funeral Home. Radley Smith Funeral Home, directing. In other obituary news this morning, funeral service for Mr. DeQuarius L. Shepard, age 17 of Childersburg, will be today at 1 p.m. from New Maryland Baptist Church in Alpine. Burial in the New Maryland Cemetery in Alpine. Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for May Ernestine Campbell Goodwin Gaither of Talladega will be today at 11 o'clock from the Chapel of Ursery Funeral Home. Ron Hurst will officiate. Burial in the Pine Hill Memorial Park. The family receiving friends today, 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. at the funeral home. The family will accept flowers or memorials may be sent to Talladega Church of Christ, 416 East Street North in Talladega. Online condolences at urseryfuneralhome.com. Ursery Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Danny Wayne Davis, age 59 of Talladega, will be today at 1 p.m. from Talladega Funeral Home. Brother Marty Phillips officiating. Burial in the Midway Memory Gardens. The family will receive friends this morning beginning at 11 a.m. at the funeral home. Mr. Davis died at Shelby Baptist Medical Center in Alabaster on Monday. Condolences may be offered at TalladagaFuneralHomeInc.com. Talladega Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Essie T. Denson, age 91, is today at 1 o'clock from Union Springs Baptist Church, with Pastor Eugene Jacobs officiating. Interment in the church cemetery. The body will lie in state 1 hour prior to the service. Ms. Denson died Saturday at Citizens BMC. Sims Funeral Service, Talladega, directing. And funeral service for Miss Sarah S. Davidson, age 16 of Childersburg. That service Friday at Limbaugh Community Center in Childersburg, beginning at 10 a.m. There will be a fellowship at the Tallahatchie Baptist Church Fellowship Hall at 1 p.m. Miss Davison died on September 14th in Childersburg. Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga will direct that service. That's a look at obituaries this morning, brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home for burials and cremations is Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.